The year is almost over, and that means it is time for my 2025 palette ranking. I've been excited to do this one for a very long time. So this year I tried a total of 36 palettes, which sounds absolutely insane to me. Now, all of the palette rankings I've seen so far this year, I feel like they are way over 100 palettes per person, but 36 to me even feels like a lot. So I wanted to be very thoughtful in my ranking. Now, here's what I will say. Some of these have already been decluttered out of my collection. I've already filled my eyeshadow palette declutter, so naturally, those are going to be ranked towards the bottom of my list. But one caveat I want to give is to say that none of the palettes I tried this year, not a single one was bad in quality, which I feel like says so much for the way that makeup is in general nowadays, whether it's an indie brand, whether it's a big name brand. I feel like that says a lot that I personally had no issues with quality at all the whole year. So these are ranked based on how often I would use them, how unique they are to my collection, how many times I wanted to pick them up after using it that first time, because there were a few of these guys, I'll be honest, that I picked up, I did a review, I was like, I feel no need to ever pick that up again. And it's not because it's a bad palette, but it's because it wasn't calling to me. And there are some that are ranked way at the high top of this list that I genuinely thought I was probably going to be like meh about, and they wound up being my top palettes of the year. So before we jump into it, leave a comment down below and see if you can name my top palette of the year. And I also want to know your top palette of the year. I always rank my palettes based on what I tried that year, not that came out that year. So I do have a few palettes here that didn't even come out in 2025, but it was my first time using them, so they are in this ranking. But I want to know what your top palette of the year was. Let's jump into this. I am so excited. So coming in at number 36, I'm actually cheating a bit and putting in two palettes. This is the Garland and Garden Quad from Clionadh. So they came out with two. One of them is basically just called the Green Quad, and the other one, I should have opened these beforehand, is the Red Quad. So here's the thing, the Red Quad, while very beautiful, is just not one that I would use. It's very pretty, but this color, I mean, is a beautiful metallic red, but this is like a pinky peach. It's just not something I would use. So with this, I did use it once, and this is one that I have already decluttered. Friends have not picked through this yet, but I do like this one way better. This is the Green Quad, and we do have 3 green tones and 1 bronzy orange. Very, very pretty. The only reason that I ranked this one quite low is, first of all, because I wanted to pair it with the other Garland and Garden. But secondly, while I think the individual colors in here are very pretty, this is just not a look I would do often. And if I'm going to wear a quad, I want it to be like inspired to wear together. I want you to be inspired to wear all those colors together. And I didn't really feel that with this one. It just didn't speak to me as much. So while it is beautiful, the Garland and Garden palette's ranked at number 36. At number 35, this is another palette I did wind up decluttering, but it is the Unearthly Thinking of You palette. I absolutely love Unearthly Cosmetics. I love their formulas. You are going to see some of their formulas ranked way higher than this. But at the end of the day, this color story, which I believe came out during Valentine's Day or right around that time, is just not one that spoke to me personally. It was a little strange, a little off for me. I just don't feel like this color story worked together. It's very pretty, but at the end of the day, they're neutrals with some very sparkly, pretty shimmers. And it just, I don't know, it just kind of didn't work for me. But I do feel that this is going to basically scream to somebody. So I'm hoping that one of my friends is absolutely going to love this. But yes, at number 35, we have Unearthly Thinking of You. At number 34, this is a palette I no longer have in my collection at all. And that is the Clionadh On Topper the World palette. This was so lovely. This was made of a bunch of just eyeshadow toppers from Clionadh that are meant to be literally worn on top of other shades, and they are really special. Any Clionadh sparkles are always special to me, but here's the thing. I used it and it was very pretty, okay? It was very pretty, but it was just kind of like surface level to me. I prefer for a palette usually to have just a multitude of different formulas in it, because I know that with that palette, I need another palette to complement it, okay? And I really did enjoy it, but I had a friend that messaged me and said, look, is that palette worth it? Because it looks so beautiful to me and it looks exactly what I've been looking for. Is the quality good? And I said, you know what? Yes, the quality is amazing, but on top of that, I'm going to send this to you. So I did wind up sending that palette to a friend because they were so in love with the idea of it that they were planning on buying it. And I knew that I was not going to get as much use out of it. So I did wind up just sending it to a friend, which made me really happy to gift it to them because I know that they will get so much more use out of it. So that was number 34, the Clionadh Topper the World palette. At number 33, we have the Nomad Route 66 palette. I'm going to hold this up very gently. This is a palette I decluttered as well. This shade unfortunately did broke, and that is the shade called, what is it, Comet 2. This palette is so much fun and it's so pretty, and the color story is very like roadside motel, and I just love how you have those desert colors, those like warm neutrals, but at the same time you have the bright neons of the signs. But this color story, again, is just not one that spoke to me. I love Nomad's formulas. I absolutely love them. They are one of my favorite makeup brands, period. Again, as a spoiler, you are going to see some of their other palettes from this year way higher up in the ranking. But this is one that just didn't speak to me from the get-go, too. I opened it up and I was like, it's pretty. The quality is great, but it just didn't speak to me personally. So yeah, at number 33, we have the Nomad Route 66. And at number 32, we do have another Nomad palette, and this is Nomad America's Parks. So America's Parks is one that came out years ago, but they did reformulate it and re-release it this year because it was such a popular palette, and I can see why this speaks to a lot of people. So we do have neutrals with punches of like nature colors. So we have greens, we have the blues of the waters, we have yellow sunshine. It really is gorgeous. For all intents and purposes, this is sort of a naturey palette to me, and it's very pretty. I have friends who I know this is their favorite palette Nomad has ever put out. The quality is fantastic, but it just, again, didn't really speak to me. It's beautiful. I love nature colors. I love neutrals. I am a neutral loving kind of gal, but at the same time, I couldn't quite place my finger on why this one wasn't screaming at me, because it should. But at the end of the day, it just didn't. This is one of those palettes that I did wind up decluttering as well. And look at how beautiful those shimmers are. Oh, it's so gorgeous. And also there's very few. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mattes in here. So I like a little bit more of a balance. So yeah, America's Parks is sitting at 32. This is inevitable for me that with every single ranking I do, as I sit down to film, I suddenly start questioning my choices and whether certain things should be higher than others, and this is definitely one of them. At 31, we have the Clionadh Light Scatters palette. It is so beautiful. It is such a gorgeous all shimmer 9-pan palette, and just the way that these catch the light is so stunning. These are so multi-chromatic and just perfect. They're just perfect, but I am going to choose to keep it at 31, and the main reason is because, like I said, I prefer usually, like, it's funny, I can deal or enjoy an all matte palette, but an all shimmer palette is kind of a different story to me. I don't prefer an all shimmer palette. This is gorgeous, and it is absolutely staying in my collection, and I will dip into this, but this is not a complete look to me personally. I usually like to have a matte to ground something, so while this is absolutely stunning and staying in my collection, this is not, going to be ranked towards the top. So at 31, Light Scatters. At number 30, another palette I did wind up decluttering. Interesting that a palette I'm saving is ranked lower than a palette I wound up decluttering, but the Nomad Fairy Tale Europe palette. First of all, I said this in my declutter, I have such an affinity for this castle specifically. It is the only castle I've ever gotten to visit in my life. This is Castle Neuschwanstein in Germany, and it holds a very special place in my heart. But this palette is so lovely. It is sort of based on Grimm's fairy tales, and a lot of these names are going to sound very familiar if you are a Disney fan as well. We have Belle, we have Cinderella, Snow White, but it is based on kind of the old world fairy tales, and they're so beautiful. But here's the thing. We have neutrals with a pop of shimmer, and it's just not my vibe. Like, the only neutrals are all matte. I mean, all the mattes are neutral, and then all the shimmers are bright colors. I wish there had been more of a mix in here, and also all of the shimmers, I mean, even there's like a couple that are not, but this felt very pastel heavy to me. I am not a pastel person. Pastel palettes do nothing for me. And while this is absolutely beautiful, and I know some of my friends are going to go crazy for this is one I wound up decluttering. So yeah, at number 30, Fairy Tale Europe. Oh gosh, this is going to look like I'm against somebody, but at 29, we do have another Nomad palette, and I feel the need to say like a caveat because Nomad came out with so many palettes this year. So it was kind of inevitable that they were going to be spread throughout my ranking. But at number 29, we have the Chris Kindle marked palette. This is one I am so happy to have in my collection. This is a holiday palette. This is like Christmas in a palette to me. Not just the reds and greens, but the bright blues. Like, I feel like this is gift wrapping paper and ice skating and a Christmas tree and just everything that's good. I really want to go to a German Christmas market someday. And I don't mean the German Christmas market that they have in Baltimore, for example. I mean a German Christmas market in Germany is where I would like to go. Thank you so much. But this palette is such a fun holiday palette. The only reason I ranked it a bit lower is because while it's beautiful, this one screams holiday to me so loudly that I can't see myself wanting to pick this up through the rest of the year. You know what I mean? Like, I can't see myself being like, oh, in the middle of May, I want to wear red and green eyeshadow. Maybe I would. And I know that that's so boring of me because you can wear any color and any combination at any point in the year. But this one just screams holiday to me, that it's almost like special in that way, that I want to keep it just for the holidays. So yes, at number 29, is that where we are? Sorry, I have my list in front of me. At 29, we have the Nomad Chris Kindle mark. Ooh, at number 28, yeah, guys, I want to say, is 28 the moment? I think 28 is the moment where I love all the rest of these palettes. So I have 28 palettes that I've loved this year. Like, how lucky am I? But at number 28, we have the Singe Galactic Visitor palette. This one is so much fun. We have some very, very deep tones, some very light tones, some mid tones. Oh, it's so good. And this is so like space themed to me in such a cool way. I feel like usually when you see space, it looks more like the New Zealand Stargazing palette from Nomad, which I love, which is like nebula colors, pink and purple and blacks. And I feel like this color is a different, or this story is a different variety of space. And for this being the premiere launch of Singe eyeshadows, they knocked it out of the park. This is such a cool color story. They did come out with 2 additional palettes, which are ranked higher than this one. So you will see them pretty dang high on this list. But this palette, the Singe Galactic Visitor, oh my gosh, I still absolutely love it. So yeah, at number 28, Galactic Visitor. At 27, this is one that kind of surprised me how far up I wanted to rank it, because this is a palette that does not even, I was going to say it doesn't scream Linda. It doesn't even whisper Linda. I've even already sort of talked down this color story in the last minute or so. It is the Nomad Chamonix Après Ski. And the reason I'm saying that is because we've got some pastels in here. But I wound up loving this color story. This is like a snowy lodge pastel, okay? This is not like dusty pastels. These are so beautiful, cool-toned, grounded pastels mixed with the brightest, boldest shimmers that just complement it so well. This color story is completely unique to my collection. I absolutely love it, and I was shocked how much I loved it. I genuinely thought when I first opened this palette that I would, I'm not going to say hate it, but I just thought it really wouldn't be for me, and I was very wrong. Chamonix Après Ski, like, I was blown away by this one. I really love it. So yes, this is number 27. At number 26, we have our first Gourmand Girls palette, and it is the Trapped palette. This is so cool. This is just like, I love the earthy greens mixed with the bright, bright punches of other colors, the purples and this like fuchsia kind of color, and the vibrant, vibrant shimmers are so gorgeous. Oh, I love it so much. It is such a good color story, and it is so unique, again, to my collection. This one just ranked a little bit lower than some of the other Gourmand Girls ones because while I do feel this is beautiful and I can envision several different color stories in my head, I feel like when I look at this, I go, okay, I can do a pink color story or a green or a purple. And my brain, I don't know why, but it has trouble sometimes mixing all these colors. It's gorgeous and they're all such good quality, but it's just not as high as the other ones, but it is still so, so good. And as a lover of Little Shop of Horrors, love it, I just, couldn't pass this one up. So yeah, number 26, Gourmand Girls Trap. Oh, and number 25, is this my biggest palette that I have? I think it's my biggest palette I have. We have the Wicked Widow American Psycho palette. Guys, this one is so special to me because I love this movie so much. It is such good quality. Now, I will say the reasons that this one ranked slightly lower are because I usually don't like massive palettes like this. I usually prefer something a little bit smaller. But they did such a good job with this color story, I can't even stand it. Okay, yes, a lot of this is very neutral, okay? But at the same time, the movie, if you watch the movie, we're not talking about the book, we're not talking about Bret Easton Ellis's book, we're talking about specifically the movie because that's what the palette is based on. We do have a lot of neutrals with different pops in here. So I love Jean being this pink color so much. I love, Killer, Envy, Greed, Double Life. Like, they put so much work and thought into each of these colors and how they were mirroring the movie. I just love it. I love it. And the quality of Wicked Widow, if you have not tried Wicked Widow yet, you need to. They are quickly becoming one of my favorite eyeshadow brands because the quality is top notch. So yes, we have at number 25, the Wicked Widow American Psycho. At 24, this is another palette that I opened and did not expect to like, and I wound up loving it. The Gourmand Girls Bitten palette. Okay, guys, if you know me, pinks and purples, while beautiful, are not usually my thing, but this is such a vampy color story. It is so incredibly sexy, and I love that this is what they came out with for Valentine's Day. It was not hearts and flowers, it was blood and gore. It's just so beautiful, and it is so deep and moody. Like, there are not very many light tones in here. We have a couple. There's not very many mid-tones. It's mainly deep and dark and spooky, and I love it. This is so good, and again, so unique to my collection, this whole color story. Oh my god, it is so good. So yes, number 24, Gourmand Girls Bitten. You know what I just realized, and I've been filming for over 20 minutes at this point, so I don't want to switch it up. But I realized that in my head, I actually counted those two Garden and Garland palettes as 35 and 36, which means that my numbers have been one off this whole time. So yeah, that's fun. That's fun the way that happens. So the Gourmand Girls Bitten palette was actually number 23. At number 22, we have our first Fantasy Cosmetica palette making their way onto the scene, and that is the Ranger palette. So interestingly enough, like, I've kept a bunch of these, but the Ranger is one I wound up decluttering. It is so beautiful. So we do have a lot of those earthy tones in here again, but with pops of really bright color that just work. They just work. I feel like Fantasy Cosmetica, what they're good for me, is coming up with these color stories that when I open them, I'm like, how does this even make sense? And then as soon as I swatch it, I see the vision. I see the whole vision and I'm in love with it. This is such a good one. The only reason I wound up actually decluttering this one is because I know that I'm not going to use a lot of these colors as often as they deserve to be used. It is so beautiful, but I just want to make sure I'm using everything I have. So while I loved this palette, I just looked at it and said, I know friends could get better use out of it. So yes, sitting at number 22, we are back on count, Fantasy Cosmetica Ranger. I feel so disorganized that I got that numbering off. At number 21, I could be wrong. Okay, so wait, the Singe Galactic Visitor technically did come out at the tail end of 2024, but I didn't get to try it till 2025. This palette came out quite a while ago, but it was my first time trying it. We have the Sigma Angela Bright palette. This is such a good palette. Okay, here's also the thing. This is the very first palette I ever did a 7 days, 1 palette challenge with. So this one pushed me outside my comfort zone and made me fall in love with it that much more. This is such a good palette. I love, one thing I always say, I love when we have a range of light tones, medium tones, deep tones, okay? I love when you have some light shimmery sparkles and some really deep and bold sparkles. This palette kind of had it all for me, and I just really, really enjoyed playing with this, even after I was done my 7-day challenge of using this palette. Like, I used this palette for 7 straight days and still wanted to pick it up when I was done because it was that good. I've really enjoyed playing with this a lot more than I even expected. So yes, at number 21, Sigma and Angela Bright. At number 20, another palette that did not come out this year, but it was my very first time trying it this year and my very first time trying this brand. We have the DD Signature Fearless Holiday. Look how good this is. Look how good this is with these beautiful jewel tones. This is such a rich palette. It is so rich and vibrant, and I just love it. I love how beautiful the jewel tones are, but it's not just jewel tones. It's so much more than that. Only reason that this wasn't a little bit higher is because we don't have many light shades in here. We've got one, And there's not really that many midtones. So these are either extremely bright or deep for the most part. There's not really any midtones, and it's very beautiful. Also, I just haven't had a chance to play with it as much as I want. But look how beautiful this is. Like, it makes me want to try this brand so much more next year. Let me know what your favorite DD Signature palette is, because this one blew me away right off the bat. So number 20, we have Fearless Holiday. At number 19, we have another debut product from a new brand, and this is the Chokehold palette by Chokehold Cosmetics. So they came out this year and came out with this and a few other products. And if this is their very first release, I cannot wait to see what they do next. So we do have a 7-pan eyeshadow, and then we have a blush and a highlighter all in one palette. They also came out with brushes and a lip product. I was so impressed with this. First of all, love this as an initial color story, because yes, we do have neutrals in there, but we have pops that make it so sexy, and the quality is amazing. It is so good. Everything is so pigmented and so gorgeous. The packaging even feels luxe. The blush and highlighter were fantastic. The only thing, I kind of wish that these had been in a separate palette. I wish we had a small eyeshadow palette and then a small blush highlighter combo. Like, I'm fine with blush and highlighter being in the same palette, but with the eyeshadows, I don't often pick up a full face palette. So I wish that that had been separated, but maybe for next time, something like that will be separated. But I just thought this was so beautiful, and I'm so impressed that this is the first thing they came out of the gate with. So yes, Chokehold palette is number 19. So am I ending every single one of these by saying, so yes, blank is number blank? I think I am. I need to refresh my vocabulary. Oh my gosh, I feel so boring that I keep saying, and this one surprised me, but it did. So number 18, Unearthly Shadowed Petal. You can probably tell why this one surprised me. It's all pinks and purples. You guys, it's pinks, purples, dusty pinks at that. This is so good, okay? The quality is unbelievably good. It is unearthly quality, so I knew it was going to be good. But these shimmers are so shifty, and they are so multi-dimensional, more than I could have ever expected. And I wound up loving the matte pinks. I don't even know who I am, but this palette really spoke to me, and I've used it several times now, and I just really, really enjoy playing with it. It's so much better than I could have ever expected. I really loved this one. At number 17, we have our very first Melt palette, and that is the Melt Welcome to Derry palette. I just finished the series, by the way. Whew, the last episode, chef's kiss. I love this palette. So yeah, I guess this is the point. So I said before, oh, we're at this point in the ranking where I really like everything above it. This is probably the point where I can say, am I looking down? I love everything that's in front of me. I love these. And this is 17. So I had 17 palettes I loved this year. I loved this. This is such a carnival theme to me. It is so carnival, and I just absolutely love it. The quality is fantastic. It is usual Melt quality. The mattes are super pigmented. The shimmers are very, very smooth and creamy. This one just felt like a very limited color story to me. And while I don't mind small palettes, again, I said this before, if you have a small palette, I want to be able to create complete looks with it and have like, just be able to create complete looks with it. That's it. And you can with this. But I just felt a little limited by it. So while I love this and am not getting rid of it, it did rank just, you know, slightly lower. So this is number 17. I will always love how Melt includes these like little plastic things in with their palettes, because it's just like another step that they've thought of, and I so appreciate that. At number 16, another palette that I was surprised by, Fantasy Cosmetica Monk. When I opened this, I was like, this is 84 shades of yellow. Why would I even be interested? It is so multi-dimensional. I was really, really impressed by this. So we do have 5 mattes, and we have 4 shimmers, and it is balanced so nicely. The mattes are all different enough that they complement each other so well, and we do have light, medium, and deep. And then the shimmers are so unique and special. I love Fantasy Cosmetica's formula so much, and this one just really spoke to me. At the end of the day, guys, I love warm tone palettes. I love warm toned eyeshadows. It's interesting. I'm looking at my top palettes, and there are some in there that are like sleeper agents, but I love warm toned eyeshadows so much. And this one really spoke to me. It's just so beautiful. I need to use this one more. So yes, the Fantasy Cosmetica Monk is 16. We are in the top 15. Ooh, and now we have our first appearance by Mob Beauty, and we have the Trad Goth palette. Guys, okay, The only reason that this one is not in the tippy top is because this is a fairly limited color story. Let's be honest, okay? It is black, white, gray with a shimmery purple. But the quality is so good that I can already tell I am going to pan all 4 of these eyeshadows. I know me, I'm going to pan. This is going to travel with me everywhere. First of all, I love Mob's packaging. It is so slim and lightweight because it is cardboard packaging, and I don't need a mirror. I don't need an additional mirror in palettes. This is just straight to the point amazingness. I wanted this for so long. It sat on my wish list for so long, and I just never bought it. And then Mob actually wound up sending this to me, and I'm so thankful. The quality of Mob is brilliant. They're my favorite brand that I've discovered this year, and I just genuinely really love their products. Yes, this is a limited color story. It is very limited, which again is why it's sitting at, what are we at, 15? But it's beautiful, and I know I'm going to use every single one until it's gone. At number 14, oh my god, this color story is so much fun, you guys. The Gourmand Girls Nevermore palette. We have such grungy tones in here. Such grungy, deep, dark tones. Like, I feel like this is like, if Trapped is a greenhouse that's alive, well, and thriving, this is a greenhouse that's slightly dying in the best way. Is that weird to say? But it is. It's like, it's almost like decay a little bit in here. And I love it. And I know that this is based more on Wednesday rather than necessarily Edgar Allan Poe, but in my heart, this is also a Poe palette. And I adore it. I love this color story so much. It is so much fun to play with. And I really need to dig into this more. Oh my gosh, even just looking at it. I love these gray tones so much. Of course, this is going to be my favorite shade in the palette. I love a dingy green or a dingy yellow, but it's so beautiful. So yeah, Nevermore is sitting at 14. At number 13, we have another palette from Singe Beauty, Agate Temptation. Oh my god, should this be sitting as low as it is? I feel like I should bump it up, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick to it. I love this color story. This is so murky in so many ways, right? It is so dingy, and dingy is a word I use to describe palettes that I'm in love with, so you know how much I love this one. I remember when Angie was kind of showing me this color story when it was still like not out yet, and I was drooling out of the corner of my mouth because it's instantly, I knew it would be a favorite. Dingy yellow, really deep, dark, reddish brown. It's so beautiful. It is so good, and if you like this kind of 70s grungy, dirty color story, the quality of this is brilliant and will not let you down. So yeah, we are already at number, what was that? 13 is the Agate Temptation. At number 12, this palette is newer to my collection, but it has become a very quick favorite, and that is the Fantasy Cosmetica Artificer palette. This is so metallic, and I'm not even just talking about the shimmers in here. I'm talking about all of it. This feels like metalworking, right? I'm picturing literally somebody working in a metal shop. I'm picturing sparks flying. I'm picturing brown leather aprons, the whole 9 yards. I love this palette, and I have had a hard time putting this one down. And considering how new this is only like a month old. I feel like that speaks highly. If I want to keep picking up a palette, that like cements itself in my brain. I really, really love this. I think it's so special. We do have one multi-chrome right here at the bottom that goes from like blue to gold to green, and it's very special. But even if you didn't have that multi-chrome, this would still be so far up on my list because I love it. I love these warm tones, and it's got a touch of coolness to it too, right? Like it's so delicious. It's so delicious. So what are we at? Number 12, Fantasy Cosmetica Artificer. Whoo, number 11. Number 11 is the Gourmand Girls Call of the Sirens. This is such a good mermaid palette to me. This is such a good mermaid palette to me. These beautiful jewel tones, these incredibly special metallic shimmers. So special to my collection, so special in general. But I just love how this all works together so well. I love this pop of a bright, light yellow shimmer. I love how deep the tones go. I love that we have this mid-tone brown. It's just really well done, and I feel like there are so many mermaid palettes out there. Mermaid theme is not one that is unique, so you have to really come out of the gate banging to have something special, and I feel like Gourmand Girls really did it with this palette. I need to play with this more. I keep saying that with every palette, but look at it. Look how special this is. I can't even stand how special. So number 11 is this, which means we're about to jump in to the top 10. Whew, at number 10 is one that I did not expect to be in the top 10, but when I was really looking at my collection and going, what have I used a lot? What do I constantly want to use? This was way up there. I've already taken this one on vacation with me. I have just not been able to put it down. And it's the eyeshadow I am wearing today, and it is the Melt 12th Hour stack. So they just celebrated their 12th anniversary, and they came out with this stack to celebrate. So here's the thing. When I got this stack, I will show you swatches in a second, but when I got this stack, I did what, anybody would do, and I threw it on the ground. I didn't actually throw it on the ground, but I did drop 2 of the shades. So when you see them dropped, that is my fault and not the fault of Melt. But what it is we have these pucks, if you will, these singles that have 2 eyeshadows in each one a matte, one a shimmer. So we go from very light, and then it goes deeper and deeper. This one is so beautiful. It's like this cool tone brown, and then we have an even cooler tone brown, almost borderline like a gray shade. Then we have my favorite one. This is the one I wore today. And then a deeper, very warm, almost like chocolate brown. And then we go super deep with like a blue-brown shimmer. This has been so easy to travel with. So easy and just so easy to work with. I love how it goes from very light to very deep. And the quality is amazing. And I kind of love the nostalgia of a Melt stack. So number 10, we have the 12th Hour stack. At number 9 is the palette that got away. It is the one that got away. So I mentioned with America's Parks that Nomad had come out with some palettes, like they've re-released them. And America's Parks was good. It could not hold a candle to me to the Berlin Underground palette. This is a palette that, like I said, is the one that got away because I wanted this so badly back in the day, but it was discontinued. It was discontinued, couldn't get my hands on it, and I didn't want it enough to pay like double or triple the cost or something. So I was so happy when I got it. I love the grunge level of this palette. You've got grunge metallics, okay? Grunge metallics, which I feel like speaks to the grittiness of Berlin. It is just so beautiful. I really, really, really liked this one. And I had so much fun playing with it. I love the tones. So we do have some matte neutrals, but we also have some bright neutrals in here. We have these amazing shifty shimmers. It's just so good. I really loved playing with this. So Berlin Underground sitting all the way at number 9. At number 8, we have one of my newest palettes, and it is the Melt Edward Scissorhands palette. I'm going to hold it here so you can watch the snowfall. Look how good the packaging is. Even just the packaging makes it so special. But the fact also is that it's one of my favorite movies. I love Tim Burton movies. The only thing I don't love about this palette, guys, it is difficult to open. It is difficult to open, but this color story, they did me so proud with this one because when they announced Edward Scissorhands, I was convinced it was all going to be white frosty blue and that was it. But they went deeper. They grabbed the light purples from the suburban houses in town. They grabbed this sparkly white blue, exactly like I said, but it's called Kim, and it's literally the color of snow as it's falling. Just so gorgeous. They made me so proud with this. Even this dingy, grungy green, the Unusual Beast, it is so unexpected, but it works so well. And I think that as far as a concentrated color story, they knocked it out of the park for me with this one. They really did. This is one where I would have liked to see a bigger palette. I would have loved to see a bigger palette from them because they did such a good job here that I would have loved to see what they could have done with more. But I had so much fun with this. I love this packaging more than words can say, even down to the insert, like I mentioned. Oh God, it's so good. It's so good. So sitting all the way at, what are we, number 8 is the Melt Edward Scissorhands. At number 7, I'm kind of calling this the sister to the Unearthly Shadowed Petal because they did come out at the same time. But Murky Meadows is obviously the one that's going to have my heart a little bit more because of those earthy, deep, deep tones. I just loved this. I loved it so, so much. I love the neutral tones in here, obviously, but these sparkles are so perfect. And this color here, Silent Woods, is so special because it is a deep, deep, dark green, so dark it's almost black, that it is just incredibly special. And I'm so happy they included something like that. I will admit, at first, Haunted Hollow threw me off. I was like, does that need to be in here? And I will still argue that while I like it and it has grown on me with this color story, I wish it was something else. But I can't place my finger on what else I would like it to be. but just, you know, that neon yellow, I was like, I don't know, I want it to stay earthy, because I feel like once you cover that up, this is just so beautifully earthy and grimy and grungy, but it is still absolutely beautiful. So at number 7, we have Unearthly Murky Meadows. Oh, okay, number 6. I hope no one accuses me of being biased, because somebody might, but I'm telling you that this is ranked at number 6, not because one of my very best friends created this, but because it's so good. It is the Witch's Familiar palette, Fantasy Cosmetica, that they did in collaboration with my friend Betty Jean, who is Batty Bean here on YouTube, okay? This color story is so good and rich. The jewel tones are just so magical, and just it just has such a good witchy vibe to it that I love. I think the shimmers are just so incredibly special and shifty, and just, oh my god, I love this color. Spells, this metallic red, more than you should. More than you should. It's got such like a gorgeous, almost orange shift to it, orange undertone. It is so good, and mixed with these teal blues up here, it's just so incredibly special. And even as I saw her kind of like, you know, ideating this color story, I was like, this is going to be one of my favorite palettes. I love this so much. So sitting at number 6, we have Witch's Familiar. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the top 5. We are in the top 5. You guys are probably going to find my top 5 hella boring, and I don't even care, because I'm looking at these and I'm like, every one of them deserves to be in the top 5. Every single one. At number 5, we have Gourmand Girl's Mocha Moment. And it's funny because I've just watched a bunch of other people's rankings, and so many people ranked this quite low. Not I. Not I. This palette, again, surprised me, because I opened it and I went, this is neutrals. This is just boring neutrals, but the number of times I've reached for this cannot even count. The quality is so good. The mattes, and this is a matte heavy palette, are so smooth and buttery, and they just blend seamlessly with one another, that this palette is so easy to use. I think this would be a fantastic beginner palette for anyone, but also we've got so many deep grungy tones in here that anybody can work with this. This is one of my favorite neutral palettes I own. I have another neutral palette over here, but it's okay. We're going to get through this together, but I absolutely adore this palette so much more than I thought I was going to. I am just blown away, and I keep reaching for it. So number 5, we have Mocha Moment. At number 4, we have, oh my gosh, a Nomad palette. Witch City Salem. You guys, this is the Halloween palette. It is the Halloween palette, because yes, you do have some typical Halloween colors. Okay, we have black, we have orange, you know, we have the green of like a bubbling cauldron. But this is such a dreamy Halloween color story to me. Betty Jean, again, said that she sees Sanderson sisters in here a lot, which I do as well, but I just see the richness of like candy and just beautiful magic. It's magical to me, this palette, and I love it so much. Like, even just looking at it, I want to play with it right now. And that speaks so highly to me, considering how many Nomad palettes I have, how many palettes I have in general. I want to play with this one right now. And that's how I have felt since the moment I opened it. It is so incredibly special. It is one of the most special palettes in my entire collection, not just that I've tried this year. So while it's ranking at number 4, this is ranking like way up there in my heart. At number 3, another one that I thought I would be so bored by. Oh, hell no, I'm not. This is the Singe Paisley Hoot. This is as neutral as you get, okay? Neutral with a pop of grunge, right? Neutral with a pop of grunge is my band name, apparently. But this one is so good, and it is my favorite Singe palette to date. I have not been able to put this one down. I have traveled with this already. I cannot get this out of my grubby little hands and out of my mind, because not only do we have those neutral mattes, right? But we have some pops as well. But the grimy, grungy tones overall, this like 70s muted vibe is sitting with me so heavily in the best way. It performed so beautifully. This is the best palette they've ever done, in my opinion. I'm sticking to that. I love this palette so much already. This is one of my top palettes in general, but this year it's ranked at number 3, and it's so perfect. For number 2, the reason this is number 2, because I am going to go through this whole palette, you guys, the whole thing. It is, I can't stand to even look at it. Oh my God, the Mob Beauty Reverie palette that they did with Courtney Quarantine. It is like Courtney reached inside my brain and grabbed things out of it and put it into a palette, okay? Because we have a beautiful, I always call this like a teddy bear brown, because it's so warm and cozy in a cream shadow formula. But wait, then we have Liminal. Okay, this is Memento, by the way. Liminal is a grimy, grungy powder shadow that is yellow, green, brown, which is my perfect color and my favorite eyeshadow color to ever exist, is like a yellow, brown, green. And it's gorgeous, but wait, then we have a shimmer shadow in Whimsy, which is a warm toned purple. How does that exist? I don't know, but it does. And then to top it off, we have a fourth formula, and that is Spark, and that is a Sparkle Balm. What is it called? It's not called like, I think it's called an elevated Sparkle Balm or something along those lines. Anyway, it is just stunning, and this is perfect. I don't have 90 looks I've created out of this. I'm going to be honest. I've had like 2 looks I've created out of it, but it's so good. I am going to go through this whole thing. I'm already to the point where I'm considering buying a backup of a palette. I have never in my life considered, no, that's a lie, because I do have a backup of Melt Gemini. So it's the second time in my life I'm considering buying a backup of a palette, but for good reason. This is going to go with me everywhere. I just think that they knocked it out of the park. This is so perfect. And again, it's like they reached inside my brain, scratched it, took everything and ran. And I'm proud of them for doing it. Guys, we are on to my #1 palette of the year. And this one, it definitely surprised me how far up it was, because I love warm tones so much. And this is a cool tone palette. I love smaller 9-pan palettes. This is a big palette. But everything about this spoke to me. I can't even stand to open it. This is the Nomad Pacific Northwest. This is so earthy in the best way possible. This speaks to the woods. This speaks to the griminess. This speaks to what it looks like right after it rains. Everything about this tells a story. This tells a story that I want to listen to over and over again. It is grimy and grungy, and it is dusty in the best way possible. This palette inspires me. I see so many looks I could do with this palette. And yes, they have made it so that, you know, if you want, you can develop it into quads or things like that. I see unlimited looks I can do with this, and I'm so inspired by it. It is so beautiful. It is my most inspiring palette of the entire year. I still can't decide if this is my favorite Nomad palette, though, because I don't know if it has beaten Ghost Town. I keep promising it, but I do promise you a Nomad ranking is coming in the new year, early in the new year, and I don't know yet whether it's going to be this or Ghost Town at the top, but I can tell you that at the top of my 2025 total list, Pacific Northwest. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. Again, please comment down below. Let me know your favorite palette of the year. But doing this is sort of like a nice wrap up for me to the end of the year. And I just want to make sure to say thank you so much to all of you that have watched, that watch my reviews, that like my reviews, that have shared them, that have told me what your favorites are, because that's my whole point of being here, is I want to be talking to you. I like that sense of community with you. I like this little group of rock stars that we've formed here. It means so much more to me than you will ever know, and I hope that comes through, because I hear a lot of people going, I love you guys so much, and I'm like, that does not even sound remotely believable. I genuinely mean it from the bottom of my heart that I care about you all so much, and you mean so much to me. And thank you for letting me be here in this little space, and thanks for coming on this journey with me. So that's it. If you did like this video, if you like rankings, please take a second, give this video a thumbs up. It would mean the world to me. You all can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Those are all Glitter Fallout. And as always and forever, please never forget that you all are super freaking rock stars. I love you so much with my whole heart. What did it used to be? Is it this? This is like too much metal for one hand? That's what you are. I love you so much with my whole heart, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.